Here we go.
Hunt Companion.
Man, that's how many is that of these?
Dude, we started these I think in September sometime.
Feeling rut worn at this point in the old Hunt Companion.
Yeah, maybe early October, so 2 months.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
2 months of these.
Hunt Companion.
Yeah. Plus some live
It is.
Hunt Companions.
It is still just as fun to say.
Yeah.
It's not gotten any
I
less
feel like
fun.
it's just starting to catch on.
Just now.
Dude, people, it doesn't matter what we post. That's a comment now.
That's the first thing
It's
they
just
say.
It's just Hunt
Hunt
Companion.
Companion.
Yeah.
I feel like there are people out there that maybe have only seen the Hunt Companions, and so when they see a real episode, they're like, "What is this?
Yeah.
He didn't say Hunt Companion. I'm out."
They're like, is this a 3-hour Hunt Companion?
Hunt Companion.
They have existed. If you're listening to this, Nick tells us it is Sunday, December 8th.
That it is.
I can't believe it's December 8th. Brain's
I
not
can.
functioning at all.
Well, it's a December 8th type of a brain situation here. Supposed to, jump right into the recap. Typically, these are assessment of what's
to come.
what's happening and what's to come here. So we're, kind of laying low, I guess, because of the gun season.
Sitting in the foxhole.
That's how I am, anyways. You've not been. Well, you hunted this. We
hunted opening day in Ohio. Didn't see shit. Well, I guess my dad saw some in the afternoon, but the kids and I didn't see dick all day. It was freezing too.
Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Get your corn piles out.
Yeah, they just didn't. They weren't on them. I mean, they were in the afternoon. My dad saw 15 does or something in the afternoon, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just this cold weather is always kind of weird because it's like, okay, you finally wait for these big cold snaps, and you're like, these deer are gonna get forced to food. I just don't see it. They just don't do it. They don't go to food. They just and maybe it's in tandem with some of the pressure around, but they just hunker down. It's almost like it snaps into these cold spells too quick to where they're like, what the fuck? What am I gonna do here? I gotta survive. So I think if you're maybe in a very unpressured area, they're out feeding and standing grain, or they're hitting a corn pile. But in these areas where I think they're getting pressure and people are out, I think they just lock down.
I think it's kind of a slow transition too. It's all the above. I think they're still, because it was probably just on the last Hunt Companion, or the week before, we said that, hey, some of those mature bucks are still even locked down or looking for the last does. And so once that kind of wraps up, I mean, it's not a hard line of, okay, it's done, because you still could have some fawns later in December.
You're gonna have fawns in late December and January. Come in. So it's really, we're waving out of it in terms of rut activity, and then I think in the midst of that, it's a continual shift into licking the wound / at some point they recall, they're like, oh, I'm hungry, and maybe there are certain days, whether it has to do with, I'm not going to say moon, but whether it has to do with moon or it has to do with there's something, or food availability, that you'll just see them all out. Last night, as we're recording this today, last night, it sounds like there was a lot of deer flocking to food. Well, it's because there was a big storm.
Storm.
Wind, snow, for a 36-hour period where they were like, I'm not moving in this shit.
Yeah.
And then it finally kind of blew out.
Yeah. And when it breaks, they will, I mean, just like any front, they will. So we have one coming, I think in Ohio, this weekend ahead of us here is supposed to be warm and rainy.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday.
And afterwards, it's like a textbook front. Afterwards, the pressure's going to rise, sun's going to come out, and it's going to be high of
40.
30. No, I mean, yeah, it's cold. It's supposed to be cold.
Again?
Where I'm at.
Yeah, we're in the 40s.
For a 3-day period, I think. And so I'm sure they'll be feeding those days.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. I mean, I think the standing grain is a big thing. I mean, I haven't really seen them hitting my green food plots at all.
Me neither.
Just they're not in them.
Me neither. Truthfully.
Yeah. I mean, this cold snap we had has been serious.
Yeah, it's cold.
The last 2 days, the wind chill was -5, -10. So, I mean, that's brutal on these deer, because, I mean, it wasn't but 2 weeks ago, it was 65, 70 degrees.
I adamantly believe in Ohio, they're so trained on them corn piles that they at this time of year, they just get up and start looking for corn. They just go from corn pile to corn pile.
It's funny. I was talking to some guys in both Kentucky and in southern Ohio, just kind of talking about these deer disappearing. Did they show back up? When do they show back up? like multiple people independently I was talking to have had deer moving like 2 to 2.5 miles linear, like in a line, which means they're walking, who knows, 4 miles, on a travel just from mid-October to places they were seen in November to places they were just seen last week. Like some significant movement to where you're like, man, these deer might be dead. They just are leaving.
Without any definitive, where are they going? They don't know.
I mean, it's just, guys talking like, hey, I've got this buck on camera. And they're like, what the hell? I had that buck in mid-October.
Wow. And
they're just moving around. I don't know. I would assume it's not pressure related, especially when you talk about mid-October and stuff. But
no,
it's food transitions. It's doe and rutting area. It's security cover. All of the above, as things change here into the wintertime. But yeah, it's just been really strange because a lot of guys, I'm like, man, I didn't see the deer like in Kentucky that I thought I would see show up period this year. And they're like, yeah, me either. But I found 2 of them 2 miles away. And I'm like, for what reason? They're like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I have several that I'm a bit perplexed by. Deer that, like there's that 8-point, that 5-year-old 8-point that was at the tile lake that I'm pretty confident is alive. I saw him.
Yeah.
In October, and I have no idea where he went. I felt like I had a pretty good grasp on his range.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know where he's at. In that same area, I found a shed off a buck. It's a different.
Yep.
He was probably 5-year-old 8-point last year, so there should be this 6-year-old 8-point that I'm like, where's this deer at? Well, and I guess that's kind of the season that we're getting into here. I think once this gun pressure kind of settles. And the first few like real cold snaps are behind us, I do think they'll settle into like a food like late season, type of routine. And I'm hopeful even that either some of those deer or deer that I don't know of will show probably before it's all said and done.
I did have my biggest 3-year-old on the new Kentucky farm show up last night.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in 5 weeks.
You think that's food related?
Yep.
You think he knows there's food on your place?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
10 acres of beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. I mean, 5 weeks, haven't seen him at all.
Yeah.
And then there he is.
I will say, like, as much as we talk about, like, restrictions in a certain way,
mm-hmm.
I am stoked about a long season.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't see any reason. There's obviously a lot of things to take into account, but one thing that I enjoy about Ohio's season is how long it goes.
Well, I'll say this. There are a lot of people in Pennsylvania seeing shed bucks already.
Really?
Yep, which is the downfall of a long season.
Yeah, yes, but most, well, and I can't say one or the other, but like I want to say that bow hunting is generally going to yield a lower.
Should.
You're not going to kill as many shed bucks with bows as you are.
We have our
guns.
2-day gun season coming up still, December 21st and 22nd in Ohio.
We have several of them coming up.
And then
still.
the muzzleloader season.
Yeah.
So there's still several coming up. I think, is there another youth? There's a youth season in Kentucky. I know that.
Not in Ohio.
I
haven't seen any shed bucks yet, though.
Yeah, I don't think I have. I haven't seen a buck over 3 years old in Pennsylvania in 2 weeks, at least. I mean, just ghost towns, wherever. Just small bucks and
they're on bird
does.
feeders.
I don't know. On the mountain, I think they're hiding in a cave or something. I do have a pretty good buck, though. I don't know how old it is, but I'm going to chase it. I think it's possibly an antlered doe on camera.
Where at?
In PA on the mountain.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Big one?
Pretty cool looking. Non-typical. Just throwing shit everywhere. Velvet.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like how big are we talking?
I don't know. High 30s? Okay. No.
Oh, yeah, high 30s. That's cool.
No, not that big frame. It's that's why it looks. I think it could be an antlered doe because it's more compact.
Yeah.
But just like gnarly looking.
Seems like there's more of those things out there than we originally thought.
Yeah.
Like every year, a couple guys kill them.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. It's just I think you just start to see them on camera. Yeah, I haven't seen this deer. I've never seen this deer until about a week ago, and I got it on camera 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
So
you get kind of a beat on it then.
Yeah, I might take Harlan up on Saturday to try to kill it.
Did either of the boys kill bucks this year?
Mm-mm.
No. They shot some does, right?
A doe. Yep. So I'll take Carter out at
both
some point.
Both shot.
No,
one?
just Harlan. Mm-hmm.
Car's not showing anything this year.
No, it's been kind of. I mean, we've got those behind the house. Like, we've got the rest of this week and all next week is Pennsylvania gun season.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, I don't see as many deer on our plot in this like super cold temps. But when we have that break, like we were just talking about, that 50 degrees, and it goes to whatever high 30s or 40s, that plot will be loaded with does for sure.
Yeah.
And so they'll shoot a doe or two behind the house for sure. And then, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of just, it is that weird time too, where I'm like, okay, here's the deer that are now like Kentucky's gun season's over. It's done. There's a muzzleloader season coming up, but they kill like 10 deer the whole season, in our county. And so it's like, okay, I've got this 5-year-old that made it. Now my best 3-year-old made it. I'm looking for some other ones to start showing up. I've got some around the cabin showing up, but it's like, do I really want to go shoot these deer? Like, do I want to go kill that 5-year-old? And then what do I have to hunt next year?
Yeah. Did I tell you we found that tight rack? Dead?
No.
Yeah, Dad found him down in, I hadn't seen him in a few weeks.
Where was he?
Had a feeling he was just right down below the West Twin.
In a creek?
I mean, yeah, yes, but I don't know. I mean, he probably died by looking at him like maybe a month ago.
Okay.
Maybe a month ago.
Shot, likely?
It's hard to say. There was no arrow in him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dad claims, you know, and
Bigfoot?
That should be a
Outline?
hashtag
Dad claims.
claims because, you know, he's like, yeah, it looks like it got shot in the arm, like, or in the shoulders. What he's like, there's a hole in it, but I'm looking at the pictures that he sent, and there's also holes,
from coons,
from coyotes
and
stuff all over. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if we can say definitively what killed him.
I mean, for sure, not the deer that Willie or whoever shot in the shoulder.
It would be a long ways from there, and also not the shoulder he thought he hit him in. So Willie, I still don't know. I mean,
because that deer that you showed me, I'm like, I don't even know if this deer's been shot.
Well, I suppose that's it's possible, but unlikely. It's a long ways from where Willie shot that deer, and Willie was, I mean, I think almost very confident he shot him in the. I don't know, because the back was all tore up by coyotes. I mean, Dad sent that to the group, and it is a 9-point. Interestingly enough, I don't know. I have to follow up on that.
I was just thinking
it would be a long way. It would be half to maybe 3/4 mile from where he thought he shot it, you know. But where he died is more close to like what I would call his home range. I mean,
like kind of ventured back in there.
I don't know. Well, I told Dad to cut the whole head off, so we're going to do a European mount regardless. And if Willie decides that that's the one he shot, then fine.
Here you go.
Here you go.
Here you go. Congratulations.
Here you go.
Congratulations.
Because none of the other deer ever showed up with wounds. No other deer.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like
missing or other than that, yeah, the evidence would indicate. So far, though, everybody else in Roberts is still kicking.
Yeah, I saw Temptation. That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, almost there. Almost made it.
I do think, increasingly, I think the deer is probably 3. You know, the more 3-year-olds I see him around, I'm like, yeah, he looks the same. I don't know why.
Just bigger skeletal. Well, it's because I think last year's picture kind of threw me off. He looked like a giant 1-year-old.
Yeah, and he probably just was, you know, a whatever, standard 2-year-old, just made a big jump to 3 there. So, So yeah, feeling pretty decent about the crop there.
So if this is on Sunday, today is the season just ended in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yep, for gun.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania's got another week. This is the last day for the second season in Illinois as well.
Today.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if this is airing on Sunday, it's over.
Of the second season? Oh, Sunday. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we just started. Sorry.
One more weekend here.
Yep. So...
That 8 points still being stupid. I saw him this morning.
Yeah.
He needs to calm down.
Yeah, not being the brightest. So yeah, I mean, it's. I think this week if we're looking at this week ahead, if you have gun seasons like Pennsylvania, it's pressure, right? I mean, that's the inevitable. But we do have that front moving through. We've been kind of in this prolonged cold weather system to where we're going to hit 50s and then drop back down. So it'll be like a thaw out, and then we'll kind of get cold again. I think that will get deer moving a lot. I think a lot of them right now are really to what we discussed earlier, thinking survival. They're like, okay, it's cold. I'm going to get up. I'm going to eat. I'm going to come back to bed. And like, that's the mindset.
Tight Rack's still running around.
Which one?
Tight Rack this year here.
Oh, yeah? Did you get a picture of him?
Jed went and hunted him yesterday. Yeah, he hasn't really been around much. He just went and...
Nothing really showed up on those properties.
No.
Weird.
Yeah, weird. It's kind of a slow year. I don't know, man. It's weird, like, to... I don't know. We'll have to wait till it's all said and done here and do, like, a recap of who and what and, like, do a census on some of these deer and stuff. But it's been interesting to see who stuck around, who we know died, and who disappeared, and try to make some sense.
Speaking of disappear, I had an 8-point show up this morning in Ohio that I think is 3.5, good 8-point, like probably 130s. As a 3-year-old, haven't seen him since August, and boop, there he is. Like,
well, that's a big part of it. Yeah,
on a corn bow.
Do they go off or do they go? Yeah, well, and dude, like even on our Illinois plays, I would say as more time goes on, drastically different movement pattern than last year. And I'm trying to chalk it up to changes that we did versus...
I don't know, man. Yeah, that farm's kind of... I mean, there's several good bucks there. The fact that we haven't had another picture since... maybe we've had one, but likely mid-October of Crazy Horse is mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing.
Unless he's dead.
I would say arguably we had more sightings this year, like visual sightings of good deer, but even the ones that we saw, like no pictures of them in the same place, like
no.
And it's not like, oh, that versus here. It's like literally like, hey, they all come past this fence gap, and this year none of them came past that fence gap. But we see them.
Yeah, and I think again going back to what we just talked about, strange enough, like those bucks that I would expect to start to pop into some of these standing grain fields, not. Like I'm not like they're not in them.
Yeah.
And there's no standing grain around us. Like that's it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean,
well, there's brassicas, a lot of them. But
yeah, but I mean, even that, no,
they will do that. I mean, that's a high. That's got to be a big factor of the not knowing. Is like you never know. There could be a 60-acre brassica fields, like two lots over or whatever.
Well, there are a couple 100-acre brassica fields within a mile and a quarter of us.
That's what I mean. And they will. I mean, they're a herd animal. They will herd up and go.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to a guy who's in the he is in the UP of Michigan, but he's over towards the Wisconsin side, so towards like Marquette and stuff like that. Anyways, he was saying that, they just had these couple big storms come through, and these deer are like migrating from where they've been all fall to the winter grounds, and it's like mass migrations. Like guys will sit on trails 10 miles from where these deer are coming from and see 100 and some deer a day, just in a single foul line, basically.
Wow.
Coming into these wintering areas.
That's cool.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's hard to think. And I mean, that's it. Like, in the grand scheme of things, you think about it, like these deer moving a mile or two every night is nothing.
Nothing.
No, nothing for them to do that. Like they don't want to now as they're starting to figuring out like, hey, I got to eat, I got to reserve energy, I got to survive winter, but if they need to, they'll move whatever they need to move in a night.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like other than the gun pressure, like it's not that real for them. Cause it's like right now they have just still red oak acorns everywhere. Like at least on our place, there's food everywhere. They can go to any property and get a bite of a corn pile.
Was there nobody was out on your place for gun season, right? Did Dad say they heard like a bunch of shots or anything?
I haven't got the full recap, but it sounds like he saw some people out, just, Orange Army type stuff.
I think I heard like 35 shots first day.
Pretty sure he chewed out like a neighbor he found a bunch of beer cans like on one of our roads.
Oh, really?
Dad's been getting a little more raw in his old, his
Dad claims
in his retirement years. I'll hear stuff like that. I'm like, he used to never would have done anything like
getting
that.
ornery in his old age.
And didn't even tell me about it. Like, didn't even call to brag and be like, yeah, I told him.
It's like I broke that guy's jaw. Yeah.
He did buy a bunch of trees the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. And I have to just kind of be happy that he wants to do anything with what I get, because it's like he told me what he bought and where he wants to put them. And I'm like, okay, that's fine.
I feel like those are the worst projects I've ever taken on, or like trying to plant trees and then they just die.
Well, they're all, I mean, I'm sure some will live. It's their seedlings. So he bought white spruce and or white pine and Norway spruce.
So what's he doing?
Bought some walnut, and he bought some. I don't know if it's shingle oak or
sawtooth.
Sawtooth, yeah, sawtooth. Though,
Yeah. So it's planting for the future.
Jed's recommendation. Whatever.
He's a forester.
Fine, I'll help you.
He knows.
I'm not gonna double bar it. We're gonna borrow Jed's plow thing. And
Yeah. The actual tree planter.
Be fine.
Yeah, dibble bars.
A couple bush lattes and ride the old tractor horse here.
Just drop them in, drop them in, drop them in.
So projects are projects. I feel good about it.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Anything else we got?
Not now.
No. That seems to be it.
Good for now.
So
until the gun seasons pass, and then we refocus, and then we.
Most of them are. So this week, a lot of the gun seasons ahead are done. Pennsylvania's finishing up, but I mean, your Wisconsins, your Ohio's, your Kentucky's, your Illinois, like they're all over. I don't know when Iowa's gun season is. Sometime soon. But yeah. So I mean, a lot of them are passing now. So it's kind of the who made it, and then figure out what you want to do moving forward. Like it is the struggle. I mean, if it's a buck that you've been hunting all year, I get it. But if it's one of those ones where it's like, boy, he's like the only one left for me to try to get through.
Yeah. It's a good time for soul searching. Like what's left and what do you want out of next season? Can anything you do, if you can refrain this year, there's no right or wrong. It's just what do you want?
Yeah. Yeah. I did deploy three cell cams across a 4-mile ridge in Kentucky. I have found new bucks.
I'm not done or over. Like it's very possible that I'll kill another buck before the season is over. It's just who.
Sure.
And with the current crop, I'm like, okay, I need to at least go out and find some more and make sure I got something still going here. Or
yeah, you kind of got to get through the.
I'm just not doing anything till the gun season's done. I just don't want to go push deer around. I don't want. I'm just kind of letting it pass.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's a good move. Well, here we are walking in this week. Most of the gun seasons will be over in the upcoming week, and try to reset and figure out what the next moves are. So with that, we appreciate everyone listening. Have a safe week hunting. Good luck, and we'll see you next week on Hunt Companion.
Hunt Companion.
Take me